Alright, let's do this one last time. My name is Drew Dodger, and for the last couple months, I've been doing a podcast with my good buddy, Jacob Herron. While we love film in general, with us being artists and all, we have a fascination with animation, and we decided to start an audio podcast after we both geeked out over the animated Transformers movie. We're not perfect, we've gotten names wrong, and we don't always agree on movies. But at the end of the day, we try to bring an informative and entertaining show to you all, and we'd like to welcome you to The Cellcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of The Cellcast. Joining me this morning is a man who spent a lot of time on top of a mountain recently. Jacob!
Why, thank you. And I'd like to introduce our co-host. A man who's become so fed up with his hometown, he's just got to go to Tokyo. Welcome, Drew.
Tokyo?
Yeah, Tokyo.
Oh, I wouldn't mind visiting once, but considering another game I played, I might actually be able to get around it despite having never been there. But that's beside the point. How are you doing this morning, Jacob?
Man, I'm doing very well. Well, at the time of this recording, obviously we're doing it on a Tuesday night. Mm-hmm. This week has been, going pretty good. Last week when I was going to Austin, drive down to the singles convention.
Yes.
I happened to be listening to a podcast of a former classmate of Jake Thompson, and his podcast, So Compete Every Day, in which Compete Every Day is it's not simply just athletics or CrossFit. It's not just for athletes, but rather it's compete every day in your ordinary life of being your best.
Like no one ever was?
Yeah, kind of.
Sorry, I had to get the Pokemon reference in there.
That's perfectly fine. But yeah, I wound up listening to most of that podcast on the way up there. Mm-hmm. So I'd love to give a really big shout out to Compete Every Day, the podcast, and Jake for putting this all together. It was really, it made me think of how I approach things, because so much we just want to give up.
Yeah.
I'm going to give up, be like, oh, I can't do anything. It's like, no, be like, just, get up in the morning, and, start setting your routines and just, face the day. Face the day, be like, face your giants, kill your excuses, and just do it. And so that's motivated me a lot. And so it'd be like, yeah, big shout out to Compete Every Day podcast for that inspiration. Other than that, the week, I woke up relatively early for a Bible study on this Tuesday morning, and decided to go for a walk, which I've had a chance to in a couple of months. And plus I had a sunburn from the last weekend. That wasn't pleasant. Yeah. That wasn't pleasant at all.
For a little bit of interest, folks, he got his sunburn on Saturday. It was so bad come Tuesday, Monday night, he didn't get any sleep.
Yeah.
So he wasn't awake enough for us to record the podcast last Tuesday, so it got pushed back to Thursday. So here in a minute, you'll notice a distinct lack of anything we've been watching, because we didn't have time.
No, we haven't. But, yeah, so, yeah, the sunburn is finally healed. There's just a little bit here on the ridge. Mm-hmm. But,
yeah, it's nice that you're no longer peeling on Mike.
Yeah, exactly. I felt like a snake. And just got to shed a little bit. But it's been great. I got up and ran and walked or jogged or whatever, and started off my day fresh. Mm-hmm. Started off with like a better attitude, and started off with my heart, my soul in the right place, and not getting irritated by some external thing. Mm-hmm. And it really helped. It really helped.
Good.
Of just getting out in the morning And be like, if it's just simply going for a walk or a run or a jog in the morning before work or in between lunch, be like when you're on your lunch, go for a walk or, hit the gym or, working on your skills, which you're good at and improving those each and every day. So it's basically compete every day.
All right.
And if it's not competing with someone else, it's competing with yourself to get better. So, yeah, that's how my week's been. How's yours?
Yeah, cow. Oh, gosh, I hate those.
Nah. Anyways.
Feel better.
Yes. Yeah, you might want to edit that one out. Anyways.
Of course I will.
How's your week been, Drew?
Oh, my week has been good. I spent the weekend visiting a friend of mine down in up in Commerce.
Yeah,
him and his wife.
Yeah,
listener of the show, actually, Joseph.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Visited them over the weekend. Came back, hung out Sunday between church. Between all that, of course, I had no time to watch anything other than this movie.
Yeah,
but I had a good time and. Well, since you already mentioned a podcast you've been listening to regularly, I guess I will go ahead and mention the one I've been going through the back catalog of.
Yeah.
I listened to a podcast called Nobody's Listening.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's called That Story Show. He changed it 2, 3, maybe 4 years ago. I don't remember exactly when, but...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you recommended me that one, too, and I've listened to like 1 or 2 episodes. Mm-hmm. They're really good.
Oh, yeah. But I've been going back through the back catalog. There's like over 300 episodes, and I'm up to... Hang on, let me look. I could guess, or I could actually look at my app and tell you which episode number I'm on. I'm currently on episode 120, named The Clown Letdown.
The Clown Letdown.
Yes. In this one of our hosts, John, tells the story of a time he broke up with a girl that was visiting him at college. He broke up with her right after a performance he had done on stage for something, but he hadn't quite changed out of his makeup. And guess what he played?
Oh, I don't know.
He played a clown.
Go figure. Go figure.
And considering the next episode is John's Stalker, and I think I know what that's referring to,
okay,
it is funny. The show is one of my... It's been one I have been listening to when it's been on for the past 15 years. Because I was listening to this when I first discovered podcasts.
Oh, okay.
So 2008-ish?
Yeah.
So I guess that's more closer to 10 years, but it feels like 15. But yeah.
Good deal.
So, did you get a chance to watch anything besides this movie?
No, I didn't. Like you said earlier about the sunburn and unable to sleep and the discomfort of that, and
kind of backed us up a little bit. There's not much time in there.
And props to you for being, the engineer you are of getting that podcast just done in that quick of time.
You watched me do it. It's like, and I'm sure that episode is not the best edit I've ever done, but yeah.
For a very quick edit, that was impressive. That was very, very impressive. Kudos.
I know our formats at this point. I know where stuff is.
Okay, so kind of an interesting point, kind of an interesting segue in that. I had gotten a call from a listener, a family member of mine, who will rename.
They're going to rename Nameless.
Yes.
Sorry,
you're fine. Remain anonymous because apparently they didn't want me to talk about it, so I'm going to talk about it, but not using their name. So he had given me a call, and so he was asking.
Very apropos the way you said that, considering the movie.
Yes.
Sorry.
So we were just chatting because he had, we had talked about this earlier. Mm-hmm. And I asked him, so, do you listen to the podcast? He's like, yeah, I really enjoy it. It's a very interesting podcast. and that you two have such a interesting dynamic together. Just, how you can, ping off each other and banter with it sounding fluid.
Yeah.
And he's listened to quite a few. He's one of these people that he doesn't like listening to spoilers, and we absolutely talk about spoilers quite often.
Which means when we move to movies, we should probably remind people, spoilers incoming.
Yeah,
but we've never remembered to do this.
Exactly. But yeah, he just be like he's recommended the podcast to a few people, and he thoroughly enjoys his job. So I just thought I would give a big shout out. Thanks, Bob.
Bob a code name?
He knows.
Okay.
He does.
Okay. I won't ask anymore.
Okay.
I know you're trying to keep it somewhat a secret.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch much of anything either, other than a couple of game trailers, but none of that really is, big.
Right.
But, did recently, I tend to bring up my video game playing news on here all the time, but, recently, Square Enix released Final Fantasy VIII Remastered, at least on PS4. That's where I've been waiting for $20.
Wow.
And it's a pretty decent remaster.
Yeah, isn't that also going to the Switch?
Probably, but I don't remember. I just know that on PS4, which is where I got it, it was $20, which is not a bad price for that game.
Yeah, I remember hearing news about that.
Yeah, but this game is the one that's got the weirdest leveling system. It was the weird leveling system before the leveling got weird in Final Fantasy.
Okay.
And you do gain experience like you normally would.
Yeah.
But all the bad guys gain experience with you, so grinding doesn't do you any good.
Oh, that's just fun.
What you're supposed to do is level up what they call Guardian Forces.
Yeah.
Or GFs, which, for those of you who know your Final Fantasy, not lore, and for some reason don't know anything about 8, this would be your summons.
Mm.
So right now I have Quetzalcoatl, which I know I mispronounced that.
I summoned Dragonzord, right?
Not quite. Shiva and Ifrit.
Okay.
Sorry, Ifrit.
Ifrit.
I do know how to say that name now.
Yeah.
It's Ifrit. But I'm also cheating. I am still grinding, but I'm grinding differently.
You're cheating! Oh my gosh!
Not really cheating. Everything is there. I'm just taking advantage of...
He's hacking the game, people!
I'm breaking the game, people. And if you want to break the game too, just Google Super Squall mode.
Okay then.
But I've played a little bit of that recently. Yeah. I've also been... a friend of mine suggested this game.
Yeah.
And I picked it up, called Starlink.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that one.
This game launched as one of those Toys to Life games with the ships and everything.
Yeah.
You can still buy those, but they're not actually making new ones anymore, I don't think. And they're just letting you play the game for real. You can actually go level up your stuff right for real.
Yeah.
Do all your unlocks that way. And it's actually a pretty cool game for what it is. I mean, it's a nice sci-fi. It's like Star Fox before Star Fox.
It's a Star Fox game.
Which is why on the Switch version they let you play as Star Fox. Which if I'd have realized the game was an online multiplayer, I'd have bought it on Switch. So I could play as Star Fox. But I'm just playing the game as regular now. So
barrel roll.
Yeah. Press C or R twice. That's not working. Anyway. So yeah, that's me. What have you found in the news? Because I know you told me you found some stuff.
Yeah.
I was not as lucky when I went to go look this afternoon. At least not on my normal outlet.
I got you. So, okay. So, most of the news I get is from... Hold on.
Usually it's like Animation Magazine or something like that.
Yeah, you're right. That's right. Hold on. Let me go back. All right. So, for those who want to know, I get most of my information from is animationmagazine.net or .com.
Something.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the news in a smaller nutshell. Alright, so I just found this headline hysterical.
Okay.
Abominable? All Yeti for the big screen.
Oh, the puns.
Yes, apparently, Abominable?
Abdomen. It's a tough word even for me.
Yes. Will be...
The Yeti movie.
The Yeti movie,
Let's
exactly.
just call it that.
The Yeti movie will be hitting theaters September 27th, 2019. So, if you're interested and if you've seen the trailer, I think we've done this like a
we talked about it back at our rest of the year preview episode
Exactly.
when we came back from we finally got on track is what it comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah, so that'll be coming out. And so I'll probably go watch it because it just looks like a really cool film.
Mm-hmm.
And so, speaking of animation movies getting back on their feet,
Yes.
Kyoto Animation Studio was releasing its first feature since the Deadly Arson Fire back in July, which killed 35 people, sadly.
This is the Violent Evergarden movie, correct?
Yes, Violent Evergarden. I'm going to use the English translation. Violent Evergarden side story. Eternia and Auto Memory Dolls, which were released nationwide in Japan on Friday.
And if I had actually watched that show, I'd know what that meant.
Right.
Admittedly, I haven't, and I hadn't had a chance to try it.
So this movie will be coming out Friday, which will be on the 26th of September.
Mm-hmm. I do remember hearing something about that release.
Yeah.
In that all of the people who passed in that fire are apparently getting us like a credit in the movie somehow.
Really?
Like a special thanks or an in memory of.
I can imagine that.
Something to that nature.
Okay.
Which makes sense. But.
Okay. So
that's still like 38 names that are going to be on there.
Right. That's going to be a lot of people.
Or 36, not 38.
Yeah. So if you guys are interested in Violent Evergarden, you can find it on Netflix.
At least the regular show. The movie, we don't know about when it's coming over here. Netflix, I know, has, since they have the rights over for the show, they'll probably get the rights to the movie also.
Exactly.
If they're not on the production committee itself.
Yeah. So, going on to other news, apparently Shout Factory is...
Love those guys.
Yeah, Shout Factory, apparently their distribution arm, Shout Studios, is signing a deal with Sola Media Gimbra? I might pronounce that wrong.
Let me see. Okay, I don't know about the GmbH at the end, but you can say that's Sola Media.
Sola Media.
I'm sure that's like saying incorporated over here.
Probably.
It's essentially that in another language.
Yeah, Sola Media released their animated family film, Swift, or aka Mola the Swift, which will be into the U.S. This film will feature the voice talents of Kate Winslet from Titanic, and
Her Heart Will Go On.
Yes, and everyone's favorite Green Goblin, William Dafoe, who also showed his incredible voice talent in Finding Nemo.
Yes.
And so to give you a little bit of synopsis on this film, apparently it's a bird who apparently grows up believing he's a seagull, and when he tries to learn how to fly, he finds out he can't, or he never will be. Shock! And so what does he do? He runs away.
So hang on, what kind of bird is he actually? He thinks he's a seagull, but what is he?
It doesn't really say what kind of bird he is.
But it's flightless.
Yeah, it's a flightless bird.
I bet it's an ostrich.
Possibly. And so he runs away from home, meets birds of his own species, and finds out who he really is. And apparently one day both seagulls and swifts Apparently.
Oh, Swift. Yeah, the bird
Yeah.
Swift.
Yeah,
Okay.
Swift.
I
I didn't know what a swift was. It's a bird.
was thinking it was an adjective for how fast he was. I forgot there's actually a bird called a Swift.
Oh, okay. So
Probably
apparently,
where the adjective came from.
probably you're swift as a swift.
Swifty.
Swifty. So
All I know is that attack never misses in Pokemon.
So apparently Swift has to use his newfound identity to save both the family he left and the new family he's adopted.
Ah.
And so now it's kind of apparently there's this dangerous threat that shows up, and now he has the opportunity to be the hero for the day.
Let's see. A dangerous monster that affects seagulls and swifts. It's man! I don't know.
Maybe it's a bull. I don't know.
Who knows?
Alright.
Pollution! No. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
still man.
It's still man.
Cows! No, wait.
That's pollution.
Well, they do produce a lot of methane.
Yeah, it's true. Alright.
You think I'm joking and making a fart joke. I'm not.
I know you're not. Alright, so apparently at the latest Fan Expo in Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah. So
Blah,
do you,
blah, 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 blah.
so do you know who Todd McFarlane is?
Do I know who Todd McFarlane is?
Yes.
Gee, who is Todd McFarlane? Isn't he the guy who gave Spider-Man his little web things in his armpits
Yeah.
so he could fly?
Yeah, pretty much.
And isn't he the guy who made Venom?
No.
Not the original suit, but
Yeah.
the symbiote itself.
Kind
I
of.
think he's the one who did a lot of the writing for that. I
Or
think
drawing.
for that.
Drawing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And didn't he create another anti-hero in the 90s? Had a movie where it was a white guy turned into a demon, turned into a black guy, who turned into a demon again.
Kind of. I think you got it reversed, but yeah.
Either way, it's Spawn.
So apparently Todd McFarlane is, as most of us know, that Todd McFarlane back in the 90s also did a HBO series that won a bunch of awards. Really good series. Apparently is in talks with making a kid-friendly version of Spawn, and as he calls it, and to quote McFarlane, we're talking right now. Just had a couple of meetings this weekend after the expo about a couple of different animation looks, both something we can get kids into at a younger age, and then get them into the sort of crack cocaine version of Spawn.
Why am I having flashbacks to Baby's first Deadpool book?
Okay.
You don't know what I'm talking about,
No,
do
I
you?
don't. Please explain.
Marvel Comics, back when Deadpool was first getting popular,
Yeah.
released a comic book called Baby's First Deadpool Book, and it was just a standard issue of Deadpool, but it had this special title and all that.
Yeah.
And it was essentially an anthology book with a bunch of different things, but it was all kid-friendly Deadpool stories.
Okay.
And they even did a parody of Goofus and Gallant. Do you remember that from the Boys Life comic?
Nope.
Nope. No, this guy is great. And look at all these great things he does for society. This guy is a total pig. That that back and forth I'm talking about. Well, Captain America is, of course, playing Gallant. And Deadpool's Goofus. So in one of them, I remember this insanely clearly.
Yeah.
It says, though he doesn't understand it, Captain America respects the views and convictions of his vegan fans. Deadpool ties up vegans and force feeds them meatloaf.
Okay, then.
This is what I'm getting flashbacks to with kid-friendly Spawn.
Yeah. So,
I can just imagine some well-meaning parent. No, that's not going to happen anymore because well-meaning parents aren't going to go into comic book stores. But just imagine if this was the 90s where you could still buy comics at the grocery store.
yeah.
And this well-meaning parent thinking, oh, it's just a comic book. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
Buys this for the kid. And the kid comes across this word he's never heard of. He goes, Mommy, what's beep? We're a kid. We are a family-friendly show, so I can't actually say the word. But essentially, it's the act of being sent to Hades.
Yeah.
You gotta explain his backstory at some point.
Yeah, it's true. That is true. So, yeah, I thought that was very interesting. It's Todd McFarlane. They've recently just passed their 300th issue on Spawn.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, apparently they are in the works of doing another live-action reboot movie.
Because, well, I don't know. It actually makes sense that they'd be doing another live-action movie. Because superheroes are big right now.
Yeah.
We'll see if that lasts through Marvel Phase 4.
You never know.
I hope. I want to, because I love the MCU, and I love
Right.
superhero movies, and I want them to be successful.
Right.
I'm worried that after Endgame, people are going to go, well, I've had enough of that. I don't want to go through that again.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I just don't want to go through it again. But anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the news in a nutshell.
Yeah. So, I guess we need to move on into our review.
I guess so.
So before we do that, since we talked about this a second ago, and we should be doing this more often, if you have not seen Your Name, go watch it. Otherwise, we are about to spoil the movie. Just so people will know, in case they decide to turn it off right after this, because they hadn't listened to it yet and they want to go back and watch the movie. Quick thoughts. Non-spoilery.
Non-spoilery. Wow, that's kind of hard with this movie.
Well, just like generals, like, would you call it a good movie?
Yes, I would definitely call it a good movie. It's definitely
highly suggested to almost anyone to watch it.
Yes, I agree.
Would you consider it kid-friendly?
Yes.
Okay. You really would. Considering that one bad joke that gets done over and over and over again every time he wakes up in her body.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Okay. Not exactly for kids.
Yes.
But definitely for older kids.
So, teenage?
Yeah.
High school?
Yeah, that kind of age.
Okay. Alright, I, for the most part, agree with you.
Yeah.
I just wanted to think, well, if they're going to turn it off after this, they might as well at least know if they should go watch it or not.
Yeah, exactly. So, when you get done watching the movie,
come back and hit play on us, and you can actually hear our thoughts as we go crazy talking about this movie.
Yeah. Alright, so let's get into a review.
Let's do it. So, Your Name, which in Japanese, the name is Kimi no Nawa, which translates to Tell Me Your Name.
Oh, okay.
Was released in 2016.
Yes.
It was written and directed, and its English novelization was also written by Makoto Shinkai.
Mm-hmm.
He has an upcoming movie coming up called Weathering With You that's supposed to be out this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know much about it other than it's another romance story kind of like this one, but instead of time travel being involved, it's weather.
Oh, okay.
The girl can control the weather.
Oh, okay. So she's a storm-like character?
Kinda, sorta, but of course there's more mystical about it than just mutations.
Yeah.
So of course Storm was thought to be a goddess when they first found her, but anyway.
Yeah. Now, understanding this director's track record, like whatever this movie's gonna be, it's gonna be
good,
freaking gorgeous.
Yes. The English script for the dub was written by Clark Cheng.
Okay.
He's done a lot of Funimation scripts.
Okay.
The music was written and performed by Yojiro Noda, and I probably said that wrong, I apologize, of the Japanese rock band Radwimps.
Yeah. I
And
love
they
that
are
soundtrack.
they are also doing Wuthering with You.
Oh, okay.
And I'd like to point out, if you're listening to the music in this on the dubbed version,
Yeah.
and you think that singer is kind of off a little,
Yeah.
good reason for that. It's actually this guy singing the English version.
Yeah. They translated all their songs in English, and they performed them in English.
Yes.
Which is incredible.
It's incredible, but there's still some parts and it's like, that's a little too literal a translation of what you're saying to fit the music you're singing. It's not English-y, but it's a little off. It's coming from the guy who plays Kingdom Hearts and has 3 Englishy songs. That's not any worse than this. But anyway, that's beside the point.
Right.
So, moving on to the cast. And of course, we are reviewing the English dub of the anime, as we always do. So, if you prefer the Japanese dub, my apologies that I'm not about to list any of their names.
Yeah.
So, Michael Sinterklaas plays Taki.
Okay.
In the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series, he played Leonardo.
Oh, okay. So he was Leonardo in the first season, and then Seth Rogen stepped in later.
I guess.
Yes.
I couldn't tell when looking at it because I didn't look through all the episodes. It said Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003 through 2010.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if that's all the same show.
Oh, different. Which series was it again?
2003, which I believe is the 4Kids dub.
That was the 4Kids dub. Never mind.
Yeah,
I got the
you were thinking the Nickelodeon era.
Yes.
No, this is the 4Kids era.
Oh, okay. He did a good Leo.
Stephanie Shea plays Mitsuha.
Mitsuha.
She is the current voice of Sailor Moon.
Oh, okay.
And of course, Usagi Tsukino, her human name.
Oh, okay.
Laura Post plays Miki Okudera.
Okay.
Did you ever watch the show Gargantia on the Verudius Planet?
No, never heard of it.
I hadn't heard of it either until about a year ago when I was just going through Netflix looking for something and I saw this and thought, oh, this looks cool.
Yeah.
And I watched the whole thing in about a weekend. The dub, too. And so she plays Ridget in that. That was the main thing I found that was interesting.
Okay.
Glynis Ellis plays Grandma Miyamizu, her grandmother.
Yes.
She has played a lot of different judges, both in Law & Order and Law & Order Criminal Intent.
Oh, okay.
That's mostly what I found. She had like 6 roles.
So she has a tendency of bringing down the gavel.
Apparently. Kyle Hebert plays Teshi.
Okay.
He is adult Gohan in the Dragon Ball franchise.
Oh, okay. Okay, now I can hear that.
Yeah. Cassandra Morris plays Sayaka, her friend from the broadcast club.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Do you remember when we were talking at Chili's that one time about a show called Puella Magi Madoka Magica?
Yeah.
And we mentioned that the person who's giving them all their powers was akin to Satan?
Yeah.
That character's name is Kyubey.
Okay.
Played by Cassandra Morris.
Okay. Contract?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a get away from me, Satan!
Ben Pronsky plays Tsukasa.
Okay.
In the 2017 Spider-Man show,
okay,
he played Eddie Brock / Venom.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And in Transformers Combiner Wars, he plays Rodimus Prime.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Ray Chase plays Shinta. That was his friend that him and Miss Okudera is when it got him to the name of the town that just slipped my mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. Hideko Mori.
Yeah.
Edoka Mori. That's what
Edoka Mori.
Yeah.
The town that was no more?
Yes. spoilers. Oh, we already gave that word.
Yeah,
Never
we're
mind.
spoilers.
In the Netflix dub of Neon Genesis Evangelion,
Okay.
he is Gendo Ikari.
Oh, so he's Gendo.
Yes.
He's not as menacing.
And playing Mitsuha's younger sister, Yotsuha,
Right?
is Katie Harvey.
Katie Harvey, okay.
She's not been... This is pretty much her biggest role.
Okay.
Most of the others... Because this is only her second role. She had, 4.
Okay.
She's still a child actress.
Okay.
So,
Interesting. Alright.
What, Right. Go ahead.
Alright. So, to give our audience a little synopsis of what this movie is,
Mm-hmm.
there again, if you have not seen the film, spoiler alerts.
As if we haven't already spoiled everything, so go
Yeah,
ahead.
exactly. So, a synopsis of the film is two teenagers share a profound magical connection upon discovering they're switching bodies.
Mm-hmm.
But things become even more complicated when the boy and girl decide to meet in person. That's taking...
They didn't... That's a very, very, very spoiler-free
Yes.
and technically false
Yeah,
synopsis.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they just... Well, I guess technically she did try to meet him in real life.
Yeah.
Then he went to find her.
Well, technically they did meet in real life at one point.
Yes. But still.
Yeah, they try to meet up and, something happens. Or happens.
We'll get to that in a minute, because that's
Yeah.
actually part of some of my likes.
Right.
For those of you who have been listening since episode 1, you're going to notice a slight change in our formatting. Fair warning.
Yeah, fair warning.
So, you want to do dislikes or likes first?
I will go with likes first.
Okay.
Yeah, just before that, we need to back up just a second.
Sorry.
To give release date and
Oh, yeah, sorry. I
Okay.
jumped ahead.
No, you're fine. All right. So, as Drew said before, the release date for this film in Japan was August 26, 2016. It was released in the U.S. on July 3rd, 2016. Now, its box office is pretty stinking phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, it had a budget of 370 million yen.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it translates into American.
But it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. Its opening weekend, it made 1.7 million. Its gross U.S. and Canada combined was 5 million, and its gross worldwide was $358 million. So it came up short.
Mm-hmm.
It came up short of its budget, estimated budget at least.
But that's before you start counting Blu-ray and DVD sales.
Yeah, exactly. So apparently, this is the first film not made by Studio Ghibli or Hayao Miyazaki to gross 10 billion yen at the Japanese box office,
Mm-hmm.
which would be approximately about $89 million. And as of August 27th, this movie grossed over 23 billion yen, making it the fourth highest grossing movie in Japan.
Nice.
So they take their anime real serious over there.
Well, mostly.
Mostly.
Yeah. Film-wise, anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So, if my understanding is correct, this was the first time you'd seen the movie.
Yes, it was the first time I'd ever seen the film. I had heard about it when it first came out in 2016. And be like, oh, they're doing showings, all that stuff. Be like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really interested. It
Yeah.
looks like a fun film, but be like, I don't know. And when you put it on the list, it was like your name, and like it took me a little bit of time because I watched reviews over it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, wow, it sounds like a really good film. And so when it came up on the roll, and I watched it, my mind was absolutely blown of how the characters, the
Mhm.
story, the dynamic, there's so much about this film. It's so incredibly well done
Yeah.
that just it's mind blowing. That its progression is so just But there's no slowing down to it.
No.
And then you get to the big revelation in the middle of the film, minus the other revelation mid part of the film.
Minus the revelation at the end of the film.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many revelations of just like things that just unwind or are in this case connected by a thread.
Yes. Did you say it was in a union?
Yeah, it's in a union.
United?
United, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, so, watching it, be like, yeah, I was literally, I was eating dinner, and I got so captivated by the film, when I got done, my food was cold.
Nice.
It was just like, oh my gosh. Oh, yes! Oh, wow! Oh my, just a range of emotion was...
Kiss her! Now! Quit talking! Write your name!
Yes!
That's me anyway.
Yeah, I was just literally sitting there, I was like, oh, they're here. No, they're not here.
No.
Oh my gosh, that happened! Oh! Wow. And it's just like, we like slow clap at the end of it. It was so good.
So, when I first was hearing about all this in 2016, first time I heard about it was after the American original broadcast, not a broadcast, but theatrical run, which was subbed. The Japanese sub only because they didn't have the dub done by this point. By the time I heard about it,
really,
yeah, the first theatrical run was subtitled. I think they did another one dubbed later, but I didn't see that one either because, well, I'm in another Facebook group for another podcast called Feelin' Film.
Okay.
And normally this is not where I get my anime news.
Okay.
Normally I get it from other sources.
I gotcha.
But for whatever reason, I'm listening to... I'm in that Facebook group one day, and their host, Aaron...
Not our friend Aaron.
No, different Aaron. Hang on. Aaron White. The host of that show, Aaron White, was talking about how if you hadn't seen Your Name, go watch it. And there was a bit of a a group of people saying, yes, you should go watch it. It's great. Nobody was saying what it was about.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, I don't know what it's about. I don't have time to go watch a movie right now.
So basically it was like a blind bag.
Yeah, in a sense. So something came up where I was on Amazon and it said, Your Name is available for pre-order. I'm thinking about it and go, well, everyone says it's good. That's not a bad price.
Yeah.
Pre-order it. And then after that, I forgot I ordered it.
Okay.
Because it was about 3 months ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because it just went up for pre-order and then it came out 3 months later.
Yeah.
So So I'm coming home, completely forgotten I've even ordered this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a buck go, oh yeah, I forgot about I ordered this. I guess I'll watch it this weekend. So that weekend, I put it in. I know nothing about the movie other than everyone loves it, and apparently J.J. Abrams was making a movie based on it later on this shit. I haven't heard any rumors on that recently.
Yeah. That would sound amazing.
Yeah, but I was thinking, well, if all that's true, I should give it a shot. So I put it in, eating dinner. I will be honest, while I enjoyed the whole thing, when I think back to that first viewing, up until the realization that he doesn't know what comet she's talking about is a bit of a blur looking back on it, on that first viewing.
Yeah.
Because it's at that point where apparently something clicked in my mind where I immediately bought into the movie.
Yeah.
Up until that point, I think I was being a little cynical because, this can't be that good. It's an anime movie.
Yeah.
It's hit or miss if these are good. And I go going, wait. He doesn't know what? Wait. What? What? Dude! And from that point on, I'm like, I'm solely bought into the movie. Thankfully, I was done eating by this point.
Yeah. Unlike me.
I go through the whole thing, and I remember by the end of that movie, by the end of that first viewing, and he sees her on the train.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that way so I'm not... We'll get to spoilers in a minute, but I'm trying to be as spoiler-free as possible like you were. I'm going, ah! Go! Get off! Go! You better go get her. And then and they walk, and they're on the stairs, and they're going past each other. It's like, say something, you idiots!
I was the exact same way. I was like, oh my gosh, say something! Don't walk away!
And it's going, and they finally turn around and says, hey, do I know you? Says, I was thinking the same thing. Can you tell me your name? And then the logo pops up and says, no, we can't stop here! It's finally doing what I want to say, and it's nothing. It's credits at that point. It's like, you can't even do a montage during the closing credits just to close every thread up.
Yeah, it literally left you hanging. It's like, oh my gosh, what happened?
Sequel, please? Except what would the sequel do?
Yeah.
It's like, you stopped right when they got back together. We don't even know if they got married. You just assume they did.
Yeah.
Especially since her friends were obviously getting married.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, because I recently read this, apparently what is the director's name again?
Makoto something.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of Facebook. Makoto Shinkai.
Yeah, Makoto Shinkai.
Yes.
Makoto Kensai.
Makoto.
Sorry.
Japanese is not your language.
No, it isn't. Okay, so
just say Makoto.
Makoto. So Makoto apparently had written a different ending to this film. So apparently at that moment in his original script, because apparently you can find it on Twitter or Facebook, whatever now. Apparently he wrote out the script where they didn't stop. They just kept going.
That would be so painful.
Oh yeah, and so
the ending's already bad enough, painful enough,
right?
And painful in a good way, I should say.
Right, and so apparently the studio had told Makoto, it's like, you have to make this a happy ending. You can't make it a sad, depressing ending.
And it is a happy ending, but it loses none of its power in being a happy ending.
Right.
That it was obviously heading towards. It's like, oh, they're going to walk by each other and not see each other. Yeah,
that would have been like, oh, my heart stops.
I kind of get the feeling that moment is actually there when during, obviously somewhere around Christmas, the wintertime, when the snow's falling there, and they walk past each other on that bridge, and you're going, turn around, you idiots! I kind of get the feeling that's that ending, and then he wrote the springtime scene.
That could have been it. Well, apparently it was the springtime scene was actually the one where that was how it was going to end. It was just going to end them passing and be like wanting to turn around but too afraid to turn around.
Well, so, I'm glad they got over that.
The studio told them to be like, no this is like, you have to make it a happy ending.
It'll still work. And I'm happy they got that far because for a happy ending is one of the most powerful happy endings.
Yeah.
I think I've seen in a movie in a long time.
But there again, it left you on this huge cliffhanger. Right. It's like, what happens?
Getting into the likes, I do want to point out that from Magic Hour all the way to that point we just talked about is one of my likes.
Okay.
So, the last half hour of the movie.
Yes.
Because that entire point from when they come back together at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
They split back apart again. Is point for point. Every second of that is so well done.
Exactly.
That you're rooting for them the whole time, despite the fact you know how tough it's going to be. And there's that one point when you do see the comet, or the half of the comet crash into it, and you don't know.
Yeah.
If they got out in time.
Yeah, exactly. Because it leaves you in that suspense. It's like, oh my gosh, what happened?
Is everybody still dead?
Yeah. It'd be like, was she able to convince her father?
And your first clue is like, I know those voices. That's her friends. And then the news report. So many years ago, all these
5 years ago,
5 years ago, this all this happened. It's like they all survived.
They changed the past.
Yay! Now he has to meet her. And then they get to that point on the bridge. It's like, turn around. But anyway, even the whole ending of that movie, I'm claiming is not like, because it is, and it would not be good by itself.
Right.
Let me point that out, because as good as it is, without the rest of that movie to put the ending in context.
Yeah, all build up.
Yeah. It is that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what's one of your likes?
One of my likes, well, first and foremost, is the background in this film. It's so breathtaking. It's literally one of those films that you could pause it, take a picture, and frame any scene in this movie and just make it a painting in your house.
Considering that they actually took pictures of the real life locations in Tokyo for the Tokyo scenes.
Yeah.
And painted that, essentially, for the background.
Yeah. Like, it's just the artistic style of the director and his ideas and everything was just gorgeous. It was such a breathtaking movie that just artistically, just your jaw's just hanging the entire time. I'm like, no. I was like, I don't know what to say. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean,
and to tie in one of my other likes to yours, the entire sequence, every time they showed Comet Tiamat, from the very beginning where you see it crashing in, including the reuse of that at the end.
Yes.
But also there near the end where they're showing all of Japan watching the comet come over.
Yeah.
Is so stinking beautiful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just be like, it's so breathtaking. It's like how the colors they use and the depth of scale and everything. Yeah. It's just, wow.
And that coupled with the fact that you know where that comet is heading.
Yeah.
And it can result, and in one timeline it did result in the death of almost the entire town.
Mm-hmm.
That, statistically, it shouldn't hit anywhere that's populated. Right!
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to split, but it did.
Yeah, it's like, okay. Gee, I wonder if this has happened in the past. 1,200 years ago.
Well, apparently, the idea of this comet, destroying a town was based off the 2011 tsunami, which destroyed a lot of Japan. So, oh gosh, I think my second would probably be our characters. Mm-hmm. Our characters of just their road of discovery of how this is happening, because they're swapping when they're in sleep,
and they're having to live each other's lives.
Yes,
some better than others.
But it's just them learning how to it's first, because it's if you were to swap a body with a woman, if I was to swap bodies with someone I worked with, then it was like, how in the world am I supposed to? How
would you do anything?
How would you do anything? Because you honestly, because you're a guy and you're stuck in a girl's body, it's like, what in the world do I do? Mm-hmm. And so it's this there again. It's this road to discovery of how they learn to kind of deal with the situation and also become closer with each other through their through the diary entries, through the text, through the writing notes on each other, and how their friends are telling them, like, you're acting really weird, like, everything all right? And so they kind of go from be like, okay, we don't know each other, and this is really weird. It's like, okay, this is a really weird dream, to the end of the first day. Like, this is the worst nightmare ever. Yeah. To a point, it's like, okay, I think I've fallen in love with this person, and how they cut, and how what's the girl's name again? Misaha is basically trying to set up Taki with this other Masokadera. And that is the funniest name, because she's be like, why is this girl messing with my life? Yeah, what has she done now? But at the same time, be like, they're starting to grow in each other and be like, and so they're trying to figure out who they be like, trying to be like, I really want to get to know this person better, other than just be like, I'm living in their body for a day.
Mm-hmm. So my third is actually, it's not with anything with the animation, but it's with one of the voice actors.
Okay.
Michael Sinterklaas does the voice of Taki.
Yeah.
But he's also the voice of Mitsuha while Mitsuha's in Taki's
yes! Body. That's a good
and
point.
That's true on the other way around
yes.
with...
Mitsuha?
Well, Mitsuha, but I'm trying to think of the actress's name. That's true with Stephanie Shea also.
Yeah.
But Michael does a lot better job of being Mitsuha than Stephanie does of being Taki.
Yeah.
To the point where it's like, I actually believe you're a girl in a man's body.
Yeah. And just kind of point out that the director pointed out in one of the extra features that it was literally how the animators drew Taki when he was Mitsuha.
Yeah.
That his shoulders were smaller, all his there's
that bit in the animation too, but the voice actor.
Oh yes, absolutely.
All he really did was speak in a slight falsetto, but it works, and he actually does seem kind of weird.
Yeah.
Stephanie Shea, on the other hand, is still, well, obviously her personality is different.
Yeah, she talks
in his body.
Yeah,
she still sounds like Mitsuha.
A little bit. She talks in a lower octave slightly.
Slightly, but not. It's not as drastic a difference.
Yeah.
It did not impress me as much as Michael Sinterklaas.
I gotcha. Yeah, I'm going to that point of how the character shift of how they're animated. Because how Mitsuha is when she's herself, and when Taki's in, her.
Yeah.
It's just the mannerisms, how they walk, how they talk, how they just interact with people. It's just it's so realistic. It's so it's so believable. Yeah. It's okay. I can see that as a woman. I can see that as a guy, but it's so phenomenal how they do that. It's just the attention to detail is uncanny.
Yeah.
Now, my third was the big revelation in the middle of the film.
Which one? Go ahead.
Okay. So, when they Mitsuha Taki tries to call Mitsuha.
Right.
And they get cut off, mid-sentence.
Oh, that's...
On the bridge.
On the bridge?
Yeah.
It's not cut off mid-sentence. He doesn't even... He tries to call her, but it goes straight to the your phone is not... The phone you're trying to reach is currently not available.
Yeah, it's currently not available.
Yeah.
And that whole journey of I've got to meet her.
Yeah.
And so he goes out in the country and he's drawn this whole of the entire valley.
I had a feeling his drawings was going to get your attention.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It'd be his attention to detail of how, because he lived Mitsuha's life. Mm-hmm. And so they're sitting in this diner and just man, I'm just going to give up. Be this is so hard. And so one of the people walk by and it's oh, this looks like so-and-so, this region. It's really? Be wait, you haven't heard? And so you get the revelation that it's gone. Be it was destroyed 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I was floored. I was
been dead 3
years. And oddly enough, you know what that reminds me of? It's a movie called The Lake House with Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
It's very similar, except for the no body swapping.
Right.
Apparently, Keanu Reeves had died 3 years prior. Mm-hmm. And so it was 2006, but he was in 2004. Or 2 years. But, and so apparently they were leaving messages. He was leaving messages for her, and she was leaving messages for him. So it's this interesting time swap.
Yeah.
Of how they were communicating. It's or the movie Frequency with Dennis Quaid and Jim Caviezel, which is an amazing film if you haven't seen it. just the how they communicated, and then that revelation that the comet struck the city and it's gone.
Yeah.
And it's been 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would royally mess anybody up. It's just like, oh my gosh. I mean, like, how in the world do you fix this?
Especially when you realize that the crater it formed is smaller than it's larger than the original crater.
Yeah. And it's just like, oh my word, how?
Yeah.
It's like, how are they gonna fix this?
It's like, well, this can't be how it ends. There's still 45 minutes of the movie left. How is there gonna work this?
Oh, yes. But, that was just totally mind-blowing. And like you said, when they finally meet on the crater rim.
Yeah.
I was just like, because my heart was literally racing. It's, my gosh, you gotta find each other.
Yes.
Even though you are technically separated by 3 years.
They have to find a way to find each other, and they do.
They do, because...
And for a short amount of time, they are, in the regular body, seeing each other for the first time when they know who each other are.
Yeah.
And they're saying... And they're just having a nice conversation. You're going, guys, the comet's coming.
Come on, guys. It's like, and the whole thing of write your name down.
Right. And he writes something like this. Okay. And she goes to start, and the pen just drops. Like, no!
And then they slowly start to forget who the other person was.
Which is great when she gets down the mountain and she remembers that he said, let's write our names. And she looks, and what he's written is, I love you. Oh, that's helpful.
He's like, no! It's like, and it's, oh my gosh, how that, from that point, like you said, did like that whole run to be like, it's basically Mitsuha basically having to confront her father.
Yes.
That was basically
all this stuff that's happening, her confronting her father, the plan falling apart.
Yes.
When you get right down to it. It's like, guys?
You don't have much time. What's going on?
It's like, and they just go up to the comet falling, going through the clouds. You're going, guys?
It's like, what's going to happen?
And
boom!
No, it's not boom, it's
it's like,
is everybody dead?
It's just like, just me, like, I was literally sitting in the back of my seat, just like, oh my gosh. Be like, did they get out? Did Mitsuha talk with her father, make him see the light of what's happening?
Yes. And you just wait there, and it just goes forward in time, and he wakes up on top of the mountain.
2 years later.
He says, why am I here? What am I doing up here? It's like, no!
Forgotten!
No, don't do this to me, movie! Anyway.
Yeah, so that was all our good points with the movie.
Now, unfortunately, every good movie, every silver cloud has a black lining.
Yeah.
So we need to talk about our dislikes.
All right.
So my first dislike.
Okay, I think
I'm getting the big one out of the way.
Okay, that was my first one. Okay, go.
The boobies joke.
The boobies joke.
Okay, look, here's the thing, guys. You wake up in a new body.
Yes.
Has different equipment than you're used to.
Yeah, which is natural.
That's natural. I understand being curious.
Yeah.
So the first time, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
The second time, I'm going, okay, you still think it's a dream. It's fine.
Yeah, that's true.
Third time, after you say, I shouldn't for her sake, the door opens. It's like, really? Really? The joke is dead. You can't bring it back. Well, they do bring it back one other time, and this is the only one I liked.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that one. It was like, oh my gosh, he hugs her, and then the sister walks in,
and he's like, oh, he's crying while doing the thing with the boobies.
Oh my god!
And it freaks her little sister out. Hey, because she starts going, you're alive! And of course, the girl causes the girl to run off. She's like, Grandma, she's finally cracked. This once I'm going to school early.
The way I described it was basically the over excessive groping.
Yes.
Yes.
Here's the thing. You can call me a prude if you want. I'll live.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a prude. I don't care. But I think you could have handled, well, maybe with the exception of the last joke, last version, but I think you could have handled that bit a little more, less perverty, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. It was definitely overused.
Because I mean, when you look at Mitsuha and Saki's body, she kind of has the same moment of realization that there's something there she's not used to.
There's something down there.
Something down there, and you can tell her she it's done one time, and the only other callback is right before she leaves. She goes, "Oh no, I've got to go to the bathroom.
I gotta pee."
It's like, oh, I guess if you're not used to that, you wouldn't know what to do.
So yeah, they do like. Oh gosh. Yeah, it's overplayed.
It is overplayed, and it could have been done less. Is that your same on your number?
Yeah, that was the exact same.
Okay, then I'll jump ahead and go to my number 2 dislike. This is a nitpick.
Okay,
fair warning. The very beginning, it starts off with him and her body.
Okay,
that's fine. The fact that after little sister walks up on her sister, learning about her body.
Yeah.
It goes to the next scene, which is downstairs. They're eating breakfast. And at first I didn't realize it was the next day.
Yeah.
I thought it was the same morning.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So she comes down and the little sister says, "I see you're not obsessed with your boobies today." It's like, what was that? Is she worse normally? What's going on? But yeah, it's technically supposed to be the next day. It's just it's a weird transition. Yeah. I don't know what caused that. Maybe the scene where Mitsuha wakes up in Saki's body was originally in between those.
Yeah.
And then they decided not to do that.
Yeah, it wasn't a good transition.
It was not a good transition. Thankfully, it's at the beginning and you get out of the way before the really good stuff happens.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's, like I said, that's a nitpick.
Yeah.
You get past it quickly, it doesn't bug you.
Yeah.
At least for me, anyway.
For me, my second one was, there again, it's a little of a nitpick, and it's kind of a very weird how they fix everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have, what's his name again?
Saki?
No, the guy.
Saki? The guy is Saki, the girl is Mitsuha.
Okay, it's Saki. Okay. I can't think
admittedly, I think in a lot of other anime, Saki is the girl's name.
Yeah, okay. So,
but in this case, it's his name.
Okay. So, Saki goes to the quote-unquote, the place of the god. And, to where, be like,
where the treasure is, where her Kamichiguri Saki from the scene earlier in the movie is.
Yeah. So, be like, in the entire time, be like, you hear the grandmother talking, and be like, how time is a thread, and be like, how it's all, be like, the connection points and the whole bit. Mm-hmm. And so, be like, it's a really cool scene to where he's traveling the mountain, and he's traveling into the ravine, or the crater, going into the sacred temple, or whatever it's called. And,
as far as I know, it's just a cave where the shrine is.
Yeah. Be like, and he drinks a sake. Be like, oh, this is a connection to her.
And I can see that to some degree.
And so he drinks, and it enables him to go back, be like able to, go through time and, do that. It's like, wait a minute, hold on. Hold on. Be like, what about this little wristband?
That's been with him the whole
time. Be like, that is a physical connection to her.
Yeah.
Like, all you had to do was literally, oh yeah, I got this from her the first time we met. And that should have clicked it. Instead of, no, I've got to drink her spit.
Fermented spit.
Fermented spit. Either way.
Okay, let's, let me help with that.
Okay. Be like,
I grant you, it is a bit of a god in the Saki. Kind of Deus Ex Machina, but instead of Machina, it's Saki. Deus Ex Saki. It's a weird word.
Baby.
Anyway, So I'll grant you that is a bit of an issue there.
Yes.
But
It could have been made such easier way to do that.
At the same time, you have to remember this is a movie made in a country that, even though I don't think they're as religious with this anymore as they used to be,
yes,
it is a country whose culture is steeped in Shinto Buddhism.
Yeah, which I understand that.
The shrine is a very spiritual point.
Mm-hmm.
The equivalent of this, solely from a filmmaking standpoint, I'm not saying this as real, but it would be like if you went into a church and that caused you somehow to do what needed to be done. It's the spiritual location. It was, in many ways, he had to pray to the god primarily for any of it to happen.
Yeah, pretty much.
So honestly, the band and the sake, I think, was...
So sake be drinking sake.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Satsuki drinking sake. Anyway.
Satsuki.
So I think that's more dressing than what was actually needed, because he still had to pray to the god to say, give me this one other chance now that I know what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's when he slips, sees the drawing of the thing on the cave, thinking, you could have looked up any time and seen this, and you didn't. And how long has it been there? Is this from... Did obviously, Mitsuha didn't get a chance to draw this, because she didn't have time to get back up there to do that.
Yeah.
So it's been there for 1,200 years.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
And nobody saw it.
Yeah. There again, I do understand it from... Like, it's a cultural point. Yeah. It's a cultural understanding, which I don't understand fully. But at the same time, as a story point...
Yeah, it is very much... If this were... It is very much a Deus Ex Machina type ending.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it was to a point where how else are you going to get them to actually go back?
Yeah.
I mean, admittedly, for the most of this movie, the spiritual side of stuff is not important.
Exactly.
They even go to the point of saying, we don't know why we do these traditions anymore. It's just important that we do them. Yeah. Telling us that the mystical side of this is not the important part of this story.
Right.
The fact that it happens is what's important, not why it happened. And so that's this truth until you get to this one scene.
Yeah, which then at that point it matters.
It matters that there is a time god that connects through unions and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an annoyance.
I agree. It gets us to our ending.
Yes.
But at the same time, like you said, it's an
Deus Ex Machina.
Deus Ex Machina. That was one of the only two gripes I could really find about this film.
Okay, so we thought... Because I couldn't come up with a third one either.
Okay.
So, I guess that brings us to the end of the movie.
Yeah.
You want to talk on your thoughts on why you thought this was teenage and up?
Okay, yeah.
Because we already said it was whether or not it was family friendly.
Yeah, it's family friendly for a much older, kids and
people who are going to understand. People who've been through sex ed.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Basically, your preteens and up.
Yes. People who are mature enough, we hope, to deal with the fact that, they would have that trouble, and it's also not mature enough to go, he's touching her boobies.
Now, I do have to say, Misaha's little sister cracks me up every time. Oh my gosh. But, yes, in conclusion, it's an incredibly powerful, moving, cinematic, artistic masterpiece that holds on every single frame.
Yes.
There's no little wiggle room or nothing. Mm-hmm. It's a solid story where you find a lot of movies where we're going to put in buffers.
There is not a moment of filler in this movie.
Yeah, because they're going to be...
Except for maybe in the beginning in certain scenes.
Yeah. Because, a review I heard recently where it was more like there isn't a single frame wasted. Because they're going to be like, you can't... you can build your characters up, but you can't build them up the way you can in a series. Mm-hmm. In 2 hours, they do a very good job of that.
Yes.
And it's moving, it's heartwarming, it's heartbreaking. Mm-hmm. It's one of those movies that puts you in a roller coaster of emotions. Mm-hmm. And now, granted, if you're not into anime, or Japanese animation, you might not be like, you'd be like, okay, this is a good movie.
Yeah.
And I think personally, I think for, an ordinary audience member who would listen to this or listen to it or watch the movie, if you are simply just an animation fan, you're going to enjoy this film.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, if you don't get the cultural references, like some of it I didn't, because I'm not the uber otaku who knows everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, neither am I.
Yeah,
but
I wasn't referring to that. Yeah, because obviously I've met some otakus who just know everything about anime. It's like, okay, you need to have a life buddy. Anyway, so yeah, I think your average moviegoer or lover of animation would thoroughly enjoy this film. It's got a bit of everything for somebody, and it's definitely this a coming of age story in a way, and how two people come to know each other in a very intimate way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just an all around amazing film that everybody should have the opportunity to go watch this.
Okay. What do you rate it?
9.5.
All right. So, last night after watching this movie, I happened to go back into that Facebook group I told you about for Feelin' Film.
Yeah.
And I posted the following. Rewatched Your Name for my podcast this week. Will it ever be possible for me to not get choked up at the end? That is really my thoughts.
Yeah.
This movie is excellent.
Yes.
Like you said, there are some parts where it could use some tweaking. But then no movie is perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
In many ways, I'm kind of sad. I'm very happy we got a chance to review the episode.
Yes.
I'm kind of sad knowing we've just finished reviewing the episode. Or reviewing the movie, because that means we're not going to get to review it again.
No.
But definitely watching the movie again is going to happen sometime in the future. And I do believe no matter how many times I watch it, I won't get choked up at the end.
Yeah.
I'm giving it also a 9.5.
Yeah. It's one of those films that just has so much behind it that there again, there's nothing left on the bone.
Mm-hmm.
And, there again, there is that sad, it's like, we're never going to figure out what happened afterwards, unless you read the manga or something like that, which is...
Well, there's a novelization.
Yeah.
But I bet you it ends at the same point.
Probably.
I've not read it, but...
Probably.
Mostly because I don't think it's been released in English, but anyway.
It could be. But, yeah, it's one of those movies that just... It hits you with every emotion, anger, sadness, grief, remorse, joy, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it would, if I would be so bold, it would be like, say, if you have a significant other, you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, what have you, I would definitely recommend watching this movie, because it is definitely a couples movie.
Yes.
And,
which is saying something from two single men like us.
Exactly! But, even if you don't have a significant other, it's definitely one of those movies you can, sit down and, have a enjoyable time, probably shed a tear, because mostly you're going to in some fashion or form,
yes,
like our characters do quite often.
Like I say, even if the best you can pull off is having the tightness in the back of your throat,
yeah,
you'll get it. I guarantee you.
Oh yeah, this
There's
movie,
not many movies I can say force me to get sad by the end of it.
Yeah,
and it's not even a sad as in, bawling out tears. I can't believe that happened. It's not sad in a bad way. It's sad in a happy way near the end.
Yeah.
People like to call it bittersweet. I hate that term.
Yeah.
But it's essentially the closest I can think of.
I got
The ending is very bittersweet.
I gotcha. So what do you rate? Obviously you rated it.
You did too.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the end of another episode.
Yes.
We don't have any new site news.
Nope.
Right now. So we're going to go ahead and jump straight to rolling for our next movie.
All right.
Now, If you remember, last time we reviewed this. This was actually our 20th review.
Yes.
And so last time we rolled a d20 to shuffle up our locations on the d6. So you currently have spots 2, 3, and 4, and I have 1, 5, and 6. On the roll right now, we have at number 1, Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within. Number 2, Kung Fu Panda. Number 3, Oliver and Company. Number 4, Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. Number 5, The Great Mouse Detective. And number 6, replacing your name on the list this week, Wacko's Wish.
Okay.
I told you I was going to get it on there eventually.
All right.
So, this was my movie. You get to roll, sir.
Excellent.
Number 5. I believe that's... hang on. Sheet 2. How did I get on sheet 2? Number 5 is The Great Mouse Detective.
All right.
That is going to put Batman: Mask of the Phantasm at 6 movies. So, hang on. This is coming out the 3rd Saturday of the month, I believe. This episode is.
Okay.
Hang on. I need to look at something right quick.
Okay.
Yeah. So, if Batman does not get picked for the 21st episode, and for the September 21st episode,
Yeah.
it's going to grow into 2 spots.
Okay. Hold on. Be like,
I'm getting to
no. I was just be like,
notes.
okay, the 14th of this episode.
this is when this episode's going to come out.
Yes. Okay.
So if it doesn't get picked for the episode coming out on September 21st,
Yes.
it's going to grow into 2 spots. If it doesn't get picked on the 28th, it will technically go into 3 spots. However, it won't get another chance to get rolled again until after February. Because in October,
Yeah.
we're going to be starting a theme month, which I think we're close enough. We can go ahead and start saying what movies we're actually reviewing for Halloween.
I think so.
So, what we've decided is I'm going to have the 1st and 3rd Saturday, and you're having the 2nd and 4th.
Yes.
So, the first of those movies we're going to watch is Hotel Transylvania.
Excellent.
What's the second?
Second is going to be...
You forgot.
No, hold on. Be like... I'm thinking because... What we're going to do...
Nightmare Before Christmas, I think, should be the Halloween week.
Okay.
Or the one before Halloween.
Okay. So... I completely forgot what one I was going to use. I was like, wait a minute. I was...
This is why we write stuff down.
I know. I'm terrible by this
You're
stuff.
You're fine, dude.
Hold on. This is Halloween.
This is Halloween, pumpkins scream in the dead of night. This is Halloween, everybody, something scream. Halloween. Bum 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 dum bum 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 bum.
Because I absolutely just drew a like blank. It's like,
I assumed you were going to put Scooby-Doo on there, on Zombie Island.
oh, that's right.
I assumed that. I couldn't remember what you said.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
So you want to start that over again?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't sound like an idiot.
It's fine, dude. Okay, so for the episode coming out October 5th,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to be reviewing Hotel Transylvania.
Excellent.
What are we reviewing on the 12th?
Little movie called Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island.
Ah, that's a good choice. On October 19th, Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
Yes. And what are we reviewing on the 26th?
We're reviewing The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Very good choice. We're just doing it before even Halloween.
Yeah. Well, ever since nothing...
Yeah. Good. And then in November, we are, of course, doing Studio Ghibli Month, Part 1. And in December, of course, we're going to be doing some Christmas movies.
Mm-hmm.
And in January, we are doing Don Bluth Month.
Yes.
So sometime in February, we're going to have our anniversary episode, which the movie we're reviewing on that, while already chosen, will have to remain a mystery for now. Anyway, where can they find you, Jacob?
You can find me on Facebook at Jacob B. Heron. Also on Facebook, you can find my art page, which is Jacob's Daily Art Corner, which I try to draw every day. Don't really get around to it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you want to see an artist just, developing his skill and craft, come and join me there. Where can they find you?
You can also find me on Facebook at Drew Dodgen. You can also find my collection of photographs of interesting things I find at Drew's Photo Bin. You can also find both of us on our podcast at thecellcast.podbean.com. That's our website. You can also find us on Apple Play. I just combined two of them.
Yes.
You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. And, of course, you can always email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com. And you can find our close Facebook group on Facebook. It is just called The Cellcast. We only keep it closed not to keep you out, but to keep the robots out from selling us stuff we don't want.
Mm-hmm.
Usually we try to make a joke related to the movie about keeping stuff out, but honestly, I can't think of anything.
Me either.
So, of course, keep in mind, every time we say The Cellcast, and all of that we just said, that's with a single L. So, I think that's it.
I think so.
Alright, so, this has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we'll catch you in the next frame.
Doctor? What just happened? Rat!
Next time on
You don't know what a delightful dilemma it was, trying to decide on the most appropriate method for your demise. Oh, I had so many ingenious ideas, I didn't know which to choose. So, I decided to use them all. Marvelous, isn't it? But here, let me show you how it works. Picture this. First, a sprightly tune I've recorded especially for you. As the song plays, the chord tightens. And when the song ends, the metal ball is released, rolling along its merry way until... snap, boom, twang, thunk, splat! And so ends the short, undistinguished career of Basil of Baker Street.
You're despicable.
Yes. Everything's ready, Fidget?
All set, boss.
Oh, this is wicked. So delightfully wicked. Mr. Flavisham, let me congratulate you on a superb piece of craftsmanship. See what you can do with the proper motivation? You all know the plan.
Right, Professor!
It was my fond hope to stay and witness your final scene, but you were 15 minutes late, and I do have an important engagement at Buckingham Palace. Now, you will remember to smile for the camera, won't you? Say cheese.
You fiend!
Sorry, Chubby. You should have chosen your friends more carefully.
Goodbye, so soon, and isn't this a crime? We know by now the time
Adieu.
knows how
Auf
to
Wiedersehen.
die.
Arrivederci.
So
Farewell.
goodbye, so soon.
Bye-bye, Basil.
Separate way. With time so short, I'll say so long and go. So soon, goodbye. You followed me, I followed you.